Are you having enough one-night stands? I know what you're thinking. What a crazy, weird, provocative, unnecessarily provocative title. But actually, this is a serious one, people, because you know what? I get a ton of emails and questions from people saying, how do I get through a breakup? How do, my first boyfriend left me, my first girlfriend cheated on me. It's like they've been my number one love since I was 17, since I was 21, and like I've only been with 2 people, and I know this was the right person, and how do I get over that? And you know what? It's hard for me to say this to each individual person, but let me do a little macro zoom out for all of us. The gist of it is this. Love takes time, and it takes a lot of practice. You didn't get good at a sport when you played it twice, did you? No. Same with being in a relationship. And I've always believed this. When I got my divorce, I was 28 years old. It was one of my first relationships of my life, certainly my first marriage. And when I left that, I was like shook. I was distraught. It wasn't my choice to end the marriage. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I voted for. And I was dumped, essentially. And then so I had to sort of really wrestle with the fact of like, where am I now? What do I do? And then I kind of came across this study years later that really confirmed it for me. It was published in the Telegraph, a paper over in the UK. And the study shows, on average, how many people men and women will be with in order to get to that final marriage that they then say works for them. They put a ton of people in the room and they said, are you in a marriage that you're happy with? Yes or no? Start with that. If you say yes, they say, well, how many people have you kissed? How many people have you slept with? How many people have you been willing to call a boyfriend or a girlfriend? And just for men, I'll just read it right now. I got it right here. Here I am popping out of the frame. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but here I am. Guys, average man will kiss 16 people, have 10 sexual partners, have 6 one-night stands, 4 disaster dates, 4 relationships less than a year, 2 relationships more than a year, fall in love twice, be heartbroken twice, cheat once, and be cheated on once, all before he finds a lifelong partner. And in case you're wondering, the women's numbers were like basically identical, okay? Basically identical. It's not like women cheated on once, had about the same number of one-night stands. It's about the same. Does that sound like something you want to go through? All that stuff? All those disaster dates, all those one-night stands, all those being cheated on, having a relationship for less than 2 years, more than 2 years? That sounds like a nightmare. That sounds like a total nightmare. Nobody would sign up for that. Nobody would say like, yes, that's what I want. That's what I'd like to do. That's this obstacle course I'd like to go through before I get married. Nobody would do that. But the point is, right now, if you're asking that question, how do I get over this relationship? You're probably somewhere on that average obstacle course. I don't love averages. There's a danger in using averages. After all, the average person has 1 testicle. Doesn't tell you anything. But here's the thing. Sometimes the average composite man or woman who's in a happy, healthy marriage can give us a little bit of a window into where we are in that process. The reason this video is titled, Are You Having Enough One-Night Stands? Is because really what I'm asking is, have you had enough practice in relationships in order to be in one that's really, really clicking and working, where you know which buttons to press, where you know where to try really hard, you know how to make it work? Chances are for most people, if you're watching this, you probably haven't. So it's just about getting more experience. It's not about trying to have disaster dates. It's not about trying to break anyone's heart. That's not the goal. Of course not. You always want to make it work if you can, of course. But all I'm saying is, as you're navigating that obstacle course, just be aware that you're in the obstacle course. And the end of that crazy obstacle course, yours might be double the length of the ones I just talked about, is that relationship you're truly looking for. Be cognizant of how long that obstacle course might be, and be comfortable with the fact that you're learning as you go. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. This isn't a grand experiment for me. I don't know anything about YouTube. I'm just giving it a shot. So if you want to support my endeavor, if you are liking what I'm putting out there, if you have questions for me, comments for me, leave them in the comments. I'd love to interact, and I hope this thing all works out.